Welcome back to the Melbourne Strength Culture channel. We are back, we are in the gym again, and we're gonna revamp things a little bit for you guys on the channel here. And we really wanna dive a little bit deeper into topics. We wanna try and make these videos a little bit longer formatted, push out some of the topics that we may have discussed in the last 6 months during lockdown, some of the videos, those 3-4 minute videos. Really wanna break them out a bit further, really dive into the nooks and crannies of why we speak about those topics, why they're important to us as coaches, why they're in our coaching philosophies here at Melbourne Strength Culture, and how they can help you guys become better lifters and better coaches. So a few years ago, we made the big rocks of the squat. So today's video is gonna be the big rocks of the deadlift, and the 3 critical things that you need to execute when doing the deadlift to get a Mickey Mouse deadlift. So the 3 big rocks that we're gonna unpack for the deadlift for both sumo and conventional are the stack, so rib cage, pelvic position and how they affect the deadlift. Tension, your ability to build tension and maintain it during the whole deadlift. And the final one is pushing the floor away with the legs, not pulling on the bar with your arms. So they're gonna be the 3 that we break out today. See you guys down in the gym. Yeah. Stack is the first big rock that we need to get through. So we're gonna get the cockatoo over here, Mahindu. So we're gonna take Mahindu's going through sumo deadlifts here, but as discussed before, sumo conventional, these 3 rocks apply for both. So you can apply them to no matter what lift you're doing, whether you're doing one or the other or both. So we'll get Mahindu to take us through a rep. Nice. All right, so at the start, when we're talking stack, we want to make sure that the rib cage is stacked directly over the pelvis. So we'll get Mahindu in the bottom position, and we're going to get him to do a nice long exhale. And find some anterior core tension. I like to think of it as your abs should feel like a chopping board. All right, and then you're going to hold this position and take a big breath in. Good. Awesome. So a couple of reasons that we need to set the stack when we're deadlifting is that it improves our bracing and intra-abdominal pressure, which is critical when deadlifting, to help lock in position and help lift greater absolute loads. So when we put the rib cage over the pelvis, it puts the diaphragm into a better position to descend and push the viscera down and create intra-abdominal pressure. We're basically crushing the organs into a smaller space, and then we're pushing that space against our belt to create a greater amount of pressure. It's gonna help lock in your position and make it easier to lift greater loads. So just to reaffirm, the cue for this is the long forced exhale. Now we like to teach people this using the 90-90 hip lift, which we'll break out into in another video down the track. But the 90-90 hip lift is a really easy drill to help teach this stacked position and how to build intra-abdominal pressure in the deadlift. So the second big rock you need to understand when performing the deadlift is tension. So being able to build and maintain tension throughout the deadlift is gonna help you lift bigger weights in a better position. So the first key thing with this is force transfer. When we're performing the deadlift, it's all about being able to produce force with our muscles and then transfer that force into the barbell. So to understand this, we need to understand Newton's 3rd law, which is each and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So in this instance, we've got Mahindu doing 120 kilos on the bar. So in order to lift the bar, he needs to put 120 kilograms of force into the ground. Newton's 3rd law states that every action will have an opposite reaction. So the 120 kilograms goes into the floor, and then the floor gives back 120 kilograms of force. The tighter and stiffer that Mahindu's body can be, the easier it will be for that ground reaction force to transfer through his body, back down his arms and back into the barbell. This is why it's critical to be able to maintain and build tension through the deadlift. We do this with 3 key things. So we'll get Mahindu in his starting position. So the 3 things that we like to think about here at Melbourne Strength Culture is having long arms and pulling on the bar. Simultaneously, we want to push with our feet into the ground, and then we want to imagine that we've got 2 lemons behind our armpits and we're trying to crush them as hard as we possibly can to get as much lat tension as possible. So as we can see there, Mahindu's shaking doing that on his own. So we're getting to build the tension, long arms, feet, crush the oranges, lemons. All right, so we're gonna take our cockatoo and take him from a sumo and put him into a conventional deadlift. The same principle applies here as before with the conventional deadlift. Nice long arms, simultaneously push into the floor and crush those lemons, oranges, whatever you want to crush. And it's the same thing applies. So as I said before, either or for sumo or conventional. In order to build tension, we want to make sure that our starting position is armpit directly over the bar. So the armpit or the middle of the shoulder is directly over the bar. This should take care of knees and hips. And then if you worry about this, you won't have to really worry too much about where your knees and hips are. They'll just fall into position. So we don't want the armpit too far forward, then we get the hips shooting up, and we also don't want the armpit too far back, where now we're knocking the bar forward. So we want to find that happy medium of armpit directly over the bar. And then from here, go through our processes of building tension. Long arms, crush the lemons, push with the feet. So the final big rock of the deadlift is push with your legs, not pull with your arms. So can be a little bit confusing here because before I did say to simultaneously pull with the arms and push with the legs. But what happens with a lot of people learning the deadlift is they completely forget to push with the legs and it's all just pulling with the arms. So we'll get Mahinder to do a couple bad reps here of just pulling with the arms, not pulling out any slack. So what we want Mahinder to do is, as we said before, really push hard with the legs. Simple cue to help you with this big rock is imagine that you're trying to push the earth away beneath you, push the floor away as hard as you can. So build your tension, and then push the earth away. Crazy. So those are the 3 big rocks of the deadlift, and these are what you need to execute if you want to have a rock solid deadlift. So first is the stack. This will help with improving bracing and intra-abdominal pressure. Next, we have tension, which is going to help with locking in position and force transfer. And finally, we have pushing, not pulling with your arms. So it's critical to understand that both of these can apply to both conventional and sumo. They're the exact same rocks for either deadlift. So we know out of all of you that clicked on this video, only 50% of you made it to the end. If you're in that 50%, we appreciate you here at Melbourne Strength Culture. But please, to help us out, like the video, share it around. If you found it useful, please let us know. We really appreciate the support. And as always, happy lifting and squeeze those lemons.